Hey everybody, welcome into the Beehive. I'm your host, TheBee at LLC, and this is where we stack precious metals like it's pollen and nectar. Our pollen is silver, our nectar is gold, preserving our wealth as honey of old. Like ancient metals, we hold our own. And today, I'm very excited to have back with us again in the Beehive a very popular guest. We've seen him on the likes of Arcadia Economics, Gold, Silver Pros, Citizens for Sound Money, Salivate Metal, Niels Han Dynasty, Tiger Stacker, also finding coverage of ARK SGO Osmium on Space Miners YouTube channel, as well as Thule. And of course, we get him on the Beehive as much as we can. And with that, I'm going to bring Ian up here and say hello. Oh, wrong one. Ian.
Hey there.
Welcome back. How you doing?
Been a bit exhausting today. I thought it was going to be a quiet day, and it just got busier and busier.
Yeah, I've been running a bit myself all day. Let me grab some names here. We have Niels Han Dynasty, Nickel Stacking, Gerald Draper, Tiger Stacker, Joseph Lopez, Homestead Aquarius. Welcome in, guys. So glad to have all of you here, as well as you, Ian. So it's been a quite a time since we seen each other last year.
We were trying to do a live from Germany, and with the 8-hour time difference and the busyness of the conference, it just didn't happen. So I do apologize, LLC.
That's quite all right. I understand how those things go. I hear you were kept busy getting things set up over there, huh?
Yeah, I had a suspicion they wouldn't be ready with the brand new premises for the public opening. So I put on an old t-shirt and got down to it, cleaning and fitting light fittings, adjusting doors, and cleaning display cabinets, you name it.
Awesome. Yeah, that sometimes it's nice to have the construction background to know how to jump into those situations. So I bet they're glad they had you.
Yeah, I had my mobile toolkit, my Swiss Army champ knife, so that got us out of a lot of holes.
Nice. All right. Well, yeah, for one thing, silver, huh? I mean, gold as well. My goodness, since the last time we talked, if I was just running this through my mind, let's just pretend I had a 1,000 ounces of silver. It was just at 22. And now we're looking at 32. That's 10 grand right there in what, a month or few weeks?
Bit more than a month. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's only really sort of getting back to where it was in 2021, and probably not even quite that if you genuinely inflation adjust the pricing, because we were in the high 29s for a very brief period. So, but yeah, that was an encouraging jump, wasn't it? $2 on Friday.
Oh man, it seems to be trying to hold. It seems to like 31 right now, kind of.
Yeah, I was catching a plane early Friday morning, and a client had asked me to place an order, and I was watching spot, and I thought I better get hold of my broker dealer quick and get the order in. It was moving fast.
No doubt. That's some scary stuff being in your shoes, I would imagine.
Yeah, I generally, if people, sometimes clients ask, well, you pick the time to buy, and I just don't like that. It's like it's all right doing it for yourself, because it's our loss, if I commit to sell at a certain price and I don't replace instantly and it goes up, well, it's my loss, not the client's loss.
Right, no doubt.
And we don't hedge by shorting. I don't think it's, I wouldn't be happy. Well, one, it's too complicated for me, but ideologically, I don't like the idea of betting that the price of something I'm selling is going to go down.
Yeah, I know it's kind of reverse psychology there, but
I understand that the business is built up and businesses feel they have to do it that way, but I would rather not go down that road.
Yeah, no doubt. And even with some small little tiny thing like me, I mean, with silver, I feel okay in that situation anyway, with the way things are looking. So if you can get through the volatile drops, that's the key. That's the problem with where your area, where you got to re-up constantly depending on the size of people coming in. So
Yeah, I mean, we try to keep our ounces steady and growing. Well, actually steady, because and as you probably know, it's a very small margin business. You have to do a large volume to make a living. But we're using the bulk of our profits. We're buying this stuff.
Yeah. Well, wow. Look at that. Oh, there's the.
Yeah, that's the honeycomb one. Yeah.
Honeycomb, no doubt.
Yeah, let me pull it. This was one that they made especially for my request.
There it is. Look at that. That's too cool.
So we just need a whole honeycomb of this.
Is that close to an ounce there? My goodness.
No, that's over. Yeah, that's not an ounce. It's I think these are about 3 grams.
Oh, it's way an ounce then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not too bad. That looks a lot heavier than 3 grams. That's a pretty big piece for.
It's the osmium does tend to look bigger. I mean, let me hold a pencil for scale next to it.
Okay, yeah, that's a little smaller than
it looks bigger because of the sparkle, for sure.
So 3 grams, that's 3, 4, 5 grand.
Yeah, these are around 4,000. The hexagons. I asked them initially with the intention of them being in a lower sparkle grade, sort of closer to an ounce of gold, because my thinking was, people who are buying gold at 2,400 an ounce wouldn't be scared off paying sort of 2,400 for a coin disc. So this is what they call a coin disc.
Okay.
So I suggested to them, well, if you cut the hexagon, you've got no waste.
Okay.
So the coin discs, they don't charge for wastage, but the hexagons be more efficient. And I kind of like it, actually. It's probably got some applications straight off the bat in that shape.
It definitely works for me. I like that shape. So
yeah.
So what's the weight on that round there? Was that about 3 grams too?
I didn't bring my phone up. You can if you want to tap the code in, you can pull up the details if you're up to that. If I hold it close enough.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me jump on.
I'll get it steady for you.
That site. Hold on one second.
You want the identify osmium site.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me get my picture here. So we got K. So I put in the whole number. That's K9GLP.
PG.
Mm-hmm. 9PLGPG. Okay. what let me get that last number pop back up there one more time. The very last
sure.
There, PG9T.
PG9T.
Okay. All right, I got it.
So a friend of mine in Texas, he's had a ring made with one of these. So on a big finger, it looks pretty cool on a big finger. Ooh, he's gonna do that without dropping it. So yeah, he's had a ring made in sterling silver. It looks really good. I need to see where he got the base for it from. So I'm guessing that one's about high 3 grams.
Let me see that number again. I must have done something wrong. I'll put it back up there one more time for me.
Okay.
If I don't get it this time, we'll just write it off. But
okay. Yeah, don't worry about the K. So just put in 9GLP.
Okay, that was probably it.
Then the little dash PG9T. Yeah, type faster. Yeah, thanks, Neil.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't seem to pull it up for some reason. I must be doing something wrong. But anyway, we'll get it. We'll get it later. Don't want to jump off my run here too far. Let's stick a little bit to silver here before we get into osmium.
Sure.
I'll talk all about osmium. But before we get there, I just wanted to talk a bit about the silver move, and there's a lot of talk about it, but you know, it's just kind of hitting the mainstream. As far as it's been in a little bit of news here and there, you know, and of course, all of us stackers feel pretty hyped about it, but it's probably, you know, they're probably just kind of hearing, oh, silver's at 30, but what's that mean for them? Because it's not normally in the news. Probably doesn't mean much for them, you know, unless they go look at a chart,
sure,
its actual move. And so it probably won't mean much yet to your average person. Might be their first time hearing something kind of about it, possibly. But
yeah, I think was it a 38% in 3 months? That should get some notice, shouldn't it?
Right. I mean, for traders and other stuff, the public yet, they're probably just kind of hearing about it on the news and doesn't really, I bet it hasn't sunk in at all what that would mean, or, you know.
No, and the mainstream commentators, I caught a little bit of a Bloomberg guy, and he was saying, oh, well, silver's an industrial metal. It's like, okay, it's also a monetary metal.
Right.
You know, it was a monetary metal before it was an industrial metal, and it'll be a monetary metal after it's an industrial metal, and it'll be a monetary metal whilst it's an industrial metal. And it only adds, you know, the math speaks for itself, doesn't it? I've heard some people saying we've actually been in a 6-year structural deficit. I mean, I've seen other places, I think the Silver Institute, a 3 to 4 year structural deficit, and that's not because of stackers, that's because of the industrial consumption and destruction.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. We're already looking at too much demand and not enough product just in the industrial side. And actually, the reason it's probably on the news is partially probably because of what's going on in the monetary system, and that's not even being touched on yet or understood probably by the average mainstream media, let alone people. So but with a few more strong moves, once it's out there, once people hear, oh, it's at 30, and then once they hear, oh, 35, you know, which is, according, you know, looking at these moves, that's not going to be hard. You know,
no, I mean, a dollar a week would be nice, just nice and steady. But it's, I mean, I think we're back up just to around the 31 after the pullback today. What I can see happening is that the silver miners at this sort of level, they might decide to hold back a little bit of their production if they've just got too many dollars.
Oh, okay.
Why would you sell money for currency if you've got enough currency to pay all your bills, pay your dividends, you know, even do share buybacks? I mean, if I was a silver miner, I'd seriously be thinking about taking the company private, especially at the incredibly low valuations a lot of them are at. I think if you really believed in your company, you would take it private at this stage.
Wow. I know, First Majestic has dabbled a little bit at holding metals back. But I mean, he's really aware of, you know, I would suppose, though, wouldn't you, that most silver mines like that would be pretty up to snuff on the monetary system and what's happening there? Or
you know what? I don't know. Sometimes you can get so busy in your field of expertise, you don't look at the bigger picture, you know, whereas you know, yourself and I and a lot of your subscribers have taken the time to do some critical thinking, not just take the traditional approach or the recent, you know, the recent decade traditional approach. And I think generally we're just a little bit or a lot suspicious of government and the system.
Yes.
You know, I'm sure growing up you were a little bit contrarian. Maybe I'm just guessing that, but I'm sure you asked a lot of questions.
I can imagine where you're getting that from. So speaking of kind of theoretical or thinking the bigger picture through, I don't know if you have seen lately any Rafi Farber's stuff, but he talks about the regression theory. It's basically the inverted pyramid that we all know.
Dexter's pyramid.
And he was just kind of pointing out, he was kind of, you know, saying, well, George Gammon was kind of was missing a big point.
Yeah.
That, you know, basically the dollar gets its value being a derivative of gold.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, when these and the dollar being the very top notch of the fiat currency that everything's tied to, as it falls, there's nowhere to price anything else, that you kind of have to fall back into that.
Yeah. So I totally agree with that. Fundamentally, the dollar only has value whilst it can buy gold and hence buy silver. That there is a temporal, transitory value in its utility, because it's so vast and so liquid. You know, 93% of all debts are written in dollars.
Agreed.
So the utility does give it some value, but that value is temporary.
Right. Yes.
And that would be my understanding. And if any crypto lovers here, well, you probably know my opinion already, but I would say that the utility of a cryptocurrency gives it temporary value. But once that utility is superseded or replicated in multiple
or comes up with some type of interaction between the two that you don't want to take place, then there goes your value.
So the big question is, on the world scale, is how quickly will the utility of the dollar fade? And I would argue it's actually increasing at the moment. From what a little bit of research I've done, Chinese businesses are choosing to hold dollars, not yuan, because when they hold yuan, their purchasing power decreases and they have to buy inputs that are priced in dollars. And so, you know, and capital worldwide always flees to where it's least worst treated. And it's being least worst treated here in the US. You know, we're far from perfect. In fact, it's a pretty poor financial system, but it seems to be better than almost every other major financial system in the world.
Right, and it's keeping trade flowing, like you say, and that's key right now. That's its one strong.
That gives its utilities. So the way I see things going forward is, and I mean, since 2017, when I've really been looking at all of the macro, I've always presumed, and everyone else seems to have presumed, that a world reserve currency will get replaced by another world reserve currency. Well, I pose the question, why do we need a world reserve currency? We can have a world currency and then everybody picks their own reserve.
Yes, I see that definitely being a high possibility.
You know, especially with platforms like Kinesis gaining in popularity, Load. There's two or three others, isn't there?
Yep.
Where you've got digitized gold and silver.
Yep.
So at the moment, their handicap is a relatively high transaction fee. But if they grow to a larger point, you can store your wealth in gold and silver and spend it in dollars instantaneously.
Yeah.
So that would be, you know, I can't say it'd be the permanent solution, and it's not the ideal solution, but we don't live in an ideal world, and I don't think we ever will do. But that's what I see going forward. I think the dollar will carry on being the predominant currency, but individuals, businesses, and nations will choose to keep less and less as a reserve.
Yeah, I guess in my mind, I'm pretty much on the same track. I guess what I'm seeing, and boy, don't follow me, but is just kind of like the BRICS blockchain trade settlement that they're setting up now is just kind of a trading mechanism, basically a log trading mechanism.
Yeah, I guess that the problem they face is stability, isn't it? If you peg your currency to be redeemable in gold, somebody will come and take your gold.
Right.
You know, America tried it, and it cost us 14,000 tons from 1934 to 1971. That cost 14,000 tons of gold to keep a currency linked directly at a fixed value to gold. So we're in this paradoxical system: is how do you step off the cliff not jump off the cliff. You know, how do you step back where we've got this huge chasm between the units of currency and actual real things at the current pricing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if you've read Mike Maloney's book, but he has a great infographic that what we've been doing over decades is operating a huge excavator reaching into the future and bringing forward wealth. And we've created a pit in front of us.
Yeah.
And then not only that, we've made a mound, which now our excavator is on. So we have to reach further and further. And at some point, we can't reach any further into the future. So we either fall off the cliff or somehow we've got to unwind backwards. It's like,
right. And
a lot of people are going to be upset. A lot of people's financial instruments are not going to deliver what they expected them to.
Yeah. And if you have BRICS already trying to move on a payment system, whether they found it on what they found it on, but let's just say we carry out that the dollar, let's say our government just keeps on printing and gets crazier and prints more even than we are now. That kind of takes care of itself no matter what the other countries decide to do. I mean, our government, or however you want to see that.
Yeah. Except that for every unit of currency debasement we've done, China's done 3 to 5 times more.
Right.
And
okay.
They're not easing up on their currency debasement either. It just hasn't really filtered through yet.
Well,
so the Chinese government would have to stop quantitative easing. Well, if they stop quantitative easing, the whole Chinese system falls apart. So every nation is relying on creating more currency to pay back the previous loans plus interest. So the pain has to be intense for whatever country decides to go to a sound money route. A lot of people will be disappointed because their fictional Fugazi wealth will have to go to currency heaven. It'll have to be evaporated. So I don't think any of those BRICS countries will have the courage to tell their population you're going to be a lot poorer now. It's like, let's kick it down the road.
Yeah, well, that's definitely what we're doing. There's no argument there. But I guess it seems like to a point, it's like Russia just had their, if you're sitting as Russian, you had your wealth confiscated.
Yeah.
To that amount. I mean, that definitely raised some eyebrows from other debt holding nations of us, right? And then so I guess to me, and then so that kind of causes, from what I've been hearing, that China has been dumping our treasury and our bonds, right? So that they're not buying up our debt as much. They're kind of dropping it a little bit. And I guess
no, I agree. At the rate they're selling in Britain will be the largest holder of US debt, which is.
And so let's just, and I know I'm seeing this as being very hurtful, but what if they just say, okay, yes, we're being hurt by this, but if they just say, China, you help trade with me, and just those BRICS, they just start trying to keep themselves alive. I kind of wonder if it will come down to eventually it has to come down to the base elements, like you're saying. I mean, the leverage is in the paper, the mechanisms, the contracts that have already been written in our currency, the different nations holding different. So I see that as hard to get out of. Yes. But when you see what we're doing, and pretty much from other nations to our own admit that we're on a path that we can't hardly get out of. I mean, it's gonna.
Yeah, but I mean, it is so complex. But a lot of people forget that China has written debts in dollars to the Belt and Road scheme. I think to about 1.1 trillion to 1.3 trillion that we know of. So they're owed that in dollars.
Okay, but if hypothetically, if the dollar was to go away, there just has to be a new, like, my mind is not, like you say, it's way too tangled up to really see, but if the dollar did go away, and like we confiscated Russia's, like that's just breaking the contract right there. So if that happened.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, whatever one's opinion is, as far as the bulk of the world is viewing it, Russia overstepped the line in invading a country that was not threatening to invade it.
Right, and I'm not arguing in those lines, but I'm just saying, as far as being a nation and having that currency suddenly be vanished, because that happened to them, whether you agree or, I mean, you know, that was
yeah. I mean, the only reason I can think they left those funds overseas, they presumed they would overtake Ukraine in about 3 days, and the West would say, "Oh, okay, all right then." So they didn't have a plan B, because if Putin was really smart, he would have made sure he didn't have any wealth anywhere else apart from in Russia under his control.
Yeah.
So it's sort of.
I guess that's kind of what I feel like is you know, they're probably wanting out. I mean, it's the same as us, right? I mean, aren't we all looking at kind of the same? I mean, they have trade.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we're into, you know, anybody who buys silver and gold and tangible assets, osmium, you name it, whether it's farmland, forestry, or, you know, a stack of wood, anybody who's buying tangible asset is stepping out of the fiat system.
Yeah, and so
I think that will ultimately be its downfall, because its rate of debasement has to keep on increasing, or it collapses.
Exactly.
But it will collapse if it carries on increasing. So we're just delaying it.
Yep, and that's what I'm saying.
So we will have a deflationary death spiral, but we can put it off with an inflationary death spiral.
making it worse. Yep, but I think that's it. And so
and the reason they want to keep it going, keep the plate spinning, is because they're clearing off. When I say they, the people that own and run the banks, you know, and the people that own and run the governments, they're the ones that are taking this new currency and buying real things with it.
Yes, but this is a game of corruption that runs out at you know, and so wow, what a mess. It's just trying to think through some of that is crazy, but yeah, I mean,
but the simple thing is exit piece by piece as you can, isn't it? Stop. Just keep taking your winnings out of the casino.
And as foundational as this last, like for me, this was a big move. Like I've been waiting for this move for a while.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's kind of confirming. But amazingly, I think we're just at the very, very beginning of this. As far
I totally agree. Yeah. I think it was Peter Krauf. He did a program a few days ago, and he showed 3 ways he was predicting the price of silver, and those 3 ways are exactly what I've been telling people for over a year. And he came up with a figure of around $300, whichever way you look at it, from completely different points of view, different ratios. One was the US real estate to, you know, how many ounces of silver per average house. You know, another one was inflation adjusted. And then another one was using the gold silver ratio.
That one's interesting. What was the?
They all came out to around 300 or over 300. So that's when it's time to get excited, I think. 300.
Right. And I'm noticing some of the channels out there that are generally, and I understand why they do it, but they really want to tamp down any hype. Whereas I'm like, look, guys, hype or not, this is coming. But
exactly. No, I totally agree, LLC. It's mathematics. It's so demand inelastic, silver, and it's so supply inelastic. And this time, it's definitely not being driven by US retail investors.
Right. We haven't even. They're not even. That's not even a thing yet, really.
It's not a thing yet. The wholesalers are still.
But it sounds to be
the premiums have hardly moved.
Right. Even down, if anything.
Premiums are down on 90%. They're stable on everything apart from Silver Eagles, and then the normal switch from the 2023 sovereign coins to the 2024s. So there's a few 2023s left, and they're about 50 cents less than the 2024s. But 100-ounce bars are way down. Everything is down.
90% is way down. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's what the one thing that I want to just quickly mention that kind of scares me a bit more is the lack of knowledge. Like you see India, okay, their people are buying. I hear that the Chinese are buying people, you know, and I hear that monetarily they might be starting to see it and move into it. But here we aren't yet. We're seeing such violent moves already. Yeah. And the lack of supply, it scares me that it could get out of reach very quick. We talk about it being able to spring up without even other goods necessarily going up because of the suppression. And then if it goes up because of what's going on, I mean, it could get out of range really quick on people that,
yeah,
well, out of range, but at least definitely miss these low opportunities that we're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some very wealthy clients, and they've been waiting for a pullback from when it was $22. They've been keeping some dry powder for a pullback. 22 wasn't low enough for them.
Yeah.
So there is that psychology, but if once you start looking at a 5-year or 10-year chart, you can see this is a steady upward growth. You know, obviously we all want to buy the dip. Right. But look what happened in 2021, was it, when we got to $11? You couldn't buy it. The closest I managed to buy, I was buying retail then, was $17.
Yeah, yep. No, I remember that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the sentiment, it's funny because some of these stacking channels that are, you know, don't want you to ever say $100. Now they've switched from 100 to 2. I've noticed, like,
right.
Oh, that'll never get to. Now they're saying it'll never get to 200. Don't say it. It's like, well, what happened? It'll never get to the 100.
But anyway. It has to. We're in the exponential stage of currency debasement. So precious metals always, throughout history, give a thorough accounting. You know, hence why gold and silver still have a price, and the 6,000 fiat currencies we've tried still have a price, and it's zero.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And one thing I'm a bit surprised about, and I guess I should be happy about it. I mean, I suppose it's the way it should be, is that the people who have a bit more power in the states and whatnot are looking at these things. But there have been quite a few states that are working to legalize, or like Alabama just reversed their sales tax. I mean, which, you know, is not a huge thing, but it for me, hearing all these states working towards these things, what was Ohio just got a deposit? They said they were going to build a depository, and so I'm kind of surprised to see that from the states. To be, I mean, I'm happy about it, I guess, but it's what are you surprised when you see those headlines and that stuff happening, or how do you feel? What do you think about that?
Well, there's a lot of good people who've been working really hard behind the scenes, and the late Jim Forsyth, the founder of Citizen Sound Money, was actually down in Florida celebrating the success there when he tragically had an accident that led to his death. So yeah, I mean, here in Idaho, we nearly got a vote for the state to hold gold and silver as state reserves. Apparently, the reason the governor vetoed it is it would have benefited one depository, so there would have been a financial, you know, I want not corruption, but that there wasn't really a choice of who was going to hold it. There was something not quite right in who would hold the deposited metal.
Yeah.
So hopefully someone can step up and offer to store it for free, and then they would have to vote again, hopefully, and then Idaho can have gold and silver as reserves.
Okay, well, yeah, it's good and interesting, and again, a little surprising to see it before, even at this point. Like, to me, like I'm saying, I think we're still early on, but here they are. They're paying attention at least enough to see a little bit of that. That's getting more important on their radars too, evidently. So that's
just catching some of the comments. Somebody said they would sell at 200, and the decision to make is, well, what do you buy?
Right.
You know, if you still got you're still running a business, or you've got a good income, or both. The privacy factor is not often spoken about, but there's not a lot left that is private in this world.
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean, they could recall that 1934 Silver Classification Act, where they really did the public over. It was even worse than the gold. I think they were offering $1.50 an ounce, and then they charged a huge seigniorage fee because they said they needed it to mint coins with. So I think they were paying it ended up around $1 an ounce. Now they could bring that back. I don't think they're going to, because once you've done that in history, unless they can erase that from the history books and erase that off the internet so people don't remember that they tried it once before. So I don't think we're going to see direct classification. I think a lot has happened because people are too ignorant, too scared, or too poor to have switched into precious metals. So I think it's such a small...
They might just let it ride.
Yeah, at the moment, it's such a small amount. You know, you talked about the regression, the Exter's pyramid. If you printed silver on there, it wouldn't even be a pixel. one dot of ink would be too big to represent silver at the current prices. So I think it's viewed by the people who pull the financial strings as insignificant at the moment.
Yeah.
But given a 10 times or a 20 times move, now it starts to show. Now it'll be a few pixels on the screen. And as the other so-called financial assets start to collapse, then it'll become more and more prominent.
And the whole green movement that all of their worldview is relying on this new push towards that. I mean, when they realize silver is becoming, you know, such a big part of that they probably don't understand right now, but it is then getting squished and everybody's trying to get it.
I mean, you can look at Morocco as an example. I think they've got 50-something% of their electricity is solar now. And now they've built out their car assembling and manufacturing industry to $14 billion a year now. And their energy will be heading towards virtually 3. So if you've got reasonable sunlight, solar at the current prices really makes sense. It doesn't make sense with the way it's priced in America, where you get companies who supply the packages and they multiply the cost by 5 or 10, or, you know, just rip people off. I mean, I've heard the equivalent package in Australia for a solar package here is about a third the price. So we're just getting robbed by the solar companies in the US. But if you can fit your own system, it's not hard, there's companies that will help you spec it all out, all the components, even all the cables ready, terminated. Solar is incredibly cheap when you look at the amount of electricity it will give you, the amount of energy over its lifetime. But there's not enough silver for solar electricity for everybody.
For everything. I have solar on my roof, and I got a battery with it. So if the power, that's the other thing, you know, if you want it so that when the power goes out, it works, right? And if you don't have a battery, you're shut off. So you need a battery. But so but I'm basically got pretty close to what I was paying, just, you know, but I bought it outright. So I didn't gain much or lose much on monthly cost, but now if the power goes out, I don't lose everything. So
and I can only see the cost of energy going up. We've got
that's what I thought.
So many things going on around the world that could just really restrict the supply of oil temporarily or permanently.
Yep. Well, or even red tape, or who knows? Exactly. And before we move off silver to osmium in Germany here, I wanted to talk a little bit about the rumors about the chips in silver that got hyped up. I don't know if you heard about that, but there was some
rumors in the Silver Eagles, the RFD
or in the monster boxes, or and beings were, you know, we know. Well, like one of the funny rumors that I heard, and the fact that it didn't come from 365, there's another YouTuber out there who was saying that look out on the, you know, on the little missing reed on the edge of the eagle, that maybe people are getting in there and they're taking micro nano dust pictures or blah blah blah. But you and me would know that's just kind of laughable or funny, because
you can do that anywhere on the coin.
Well, exactly, and it doesn't have silver is soft, so with a little nick, you've lost all that. I mean, that kind of it works in osmium, but you have to log it. You have to you have to log each piece, and it can't be something that you can like, you know, my silver coin. If I flick it a couple times, that changes. It's you know,
you would destroy. Yeah, you would destroy that surface.
So there's a few different things that if you just think through a little bit, let alone, you know, you're melting your silver. It's way too hot to put a chip in it. You would have to manufacture some weird thing, or, you know, so just some common things. But beings were in osmium. It was just funny that I heard them saying that. Well, they can zoom up and get, you know, you can get in real close and get pictures of it and see exactly what that coin is. Yeah, but you would have to have logged each coin as they were brand new, and then they couldn't be let out.
You could never. Yeah, you'd have to keep it permanently encapsulated. Yeah,
exactly. So that's just not a thing there. So
yeah, but yeah, I think the Royal Canadian Mint can tell. They can scan a coin and tell if they've made it. Now, I don't know if that means they've got a record of each coin, or they've just done some slight alteration in the silver.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, the talk went right back, didn't it, to 2021 when they brought in the Type 2 Eagle. But
yeah, that's where it all kind of
in there. And it's like, has anybody found one yet?
Right. No.
Has anybody cut one open? We could have done that live, couldn't we? I could have cut one open, but it's like it's not there.
Yeah, no, there's too many gives. A ping test, you can tell the difference in a ping test between a Type 1 and Type 2 Eagle just from the
yes, different frequency,
yes, just from the little bit of change in those two. That blew my mind. So exactly.
Wow, no, that makes sense. Yeah, the frequency is going to be altered by the design difference. Yeah,
I was very impressed with that.
Now, could they put one in the monster box? Absolutely. Wow. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually put some in just in case there were
for some certain track
in transit or
A to B, right?
Yeah.
But on the normal, that's not a thing either. So yeah.
But I've not found one in all the monster boxes I've cut open.
Right. So. Right. Indeed, there was a round that was put out, and 365 did a video on that and showed that there is an actual round that they did put a sticker of a chip right onto the center, which I don't know why anyone would want that, but anyway.
Yeah, there was one mint, wasn't it, doing 10-ounce bars, RFD logged.
Tracking chips, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into your Germany. So how was your man, I'd love to hear all about your trip. How was the flight over, and what was Germany like? Tell us all about it.
Yeah, no, sure. So I went to England first to visit my mum. Unfortunately, she was in hospital, but I had a chance to visit her. When I drove to Wales to visit my dad, he lives in West Wales, and then I drove to Birmingham Airport and flew to Munich. So that was on the Sunday. So I was picked up at the airport by the Osmium team.
Oh, cool.
And they were determined to drop me at the hotel and leave me there and pick me up on Monday. And I refused. I said, give me 5 minutes, because I knew they needed help getting the building ready. So yeah, a lot of construction work, a lot of cleaning, fitting lights and light fittings and adjusting doors, cleaning display cabinets, helping set up the display, and getting to know the different people in the institute. So that was a great time, and I fortunately had a fair bit of time with the Swiss scientists who worked out how to make the stuff.
Wow, that had to be fun.
Really good guys. So yeah, I mean, with the institute's permission, I'm gonna get some more history and information from him. He did a really good presentation of why he got led to vapor crystallizing osmium, and he went through the whole periodic table and gave reasons, some obvious and some less obvious, why he ended up at osmium. So that was a great talk. And he gave it in 4 languages. This is how genius this guy is. He gave a lecture simultaneously in 4 languages. It's like,
wow.
But a really nice guy. Yeah.
Amazing. So
that was cool.
And so was he kind of working at the idea before the 2 minds met up and made it happen with Ingo? Or
40 years. he spent 40 years before he met Ingo Wolf.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he met Ingo Wolf around 2013, I want to say. And he developed this beautiful, pretty close to what we see now, not quite as refined.
Okay.
And from what I remember, the story that Ingo told me, that no one got it. Nobody understood, you know, that you take something that is the most scarce element, which has little demand or no demand, and create demand for it. You bring value. And that's why Ingo took hold of it and ran with it, and sold a lot of his businesses to pursue it, and set up the Osmium Institute to bring it to market.
Yeah, that's awesome. So he didn't. So I get you're saying I'll probably have to wait for this information, like you say. But so he was kind of after this osmium before. Like, what was kind of his initial? Can you let us know that? What was his initial? Why was he looking for anything? What was his?
Interesting. No, I didn't. No, the talk he gave was how he narrowed down everything else. That osmium was the only or the most suitable element to crystallize, and maybe he liked to challenge, you know, because no one else could do it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, no doubt. Well, with the rarest element on Earth, yeah. I mean, I mean, I can imagine a lot of reasons why, but I am very intrigued and would love to hear about that. Like, what his initial reason of setting up, 40 years, that's a long pursuit. There must have been some type of bug eating at him there.
Yeah, no, I guess a brilliant mind, when it's focused, will work away at something until you achieve it, or die, or go crazy, or.
No doubt. So did it actually open up? Was there a grand opening while you were there?
Yeah, the scaffold was taken down on the Friday, and the windows were cleaned Friday evening, and we were rushing around till 11 at night. And so, yeah, the public opening happened. We had a sort of private opening on the Friday, and then the public opening happened on the Saturday. So I think we had 300 to 500 people turned up. So a big mix. Some people just came for the free pizza and beer. Some people came to watch Ingo. He plays. He's a guitarist and lead singer in a rockabilly band. So he gave an excellent performance.
Ingo is, you say?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I should have bought a clip to share, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I want a bunch of this footage. If I could get half of what you're talking
about. I will get you some. Yeah, and so he actually, when they specified the main kitchen, he had a huge pizza oven installed. So they found this pizza expert, and he was making pizzas about 1 a minute for the whole day. Lots of free local Weiss beer from Karg Brewery. So the beer was excellent. Got to talk to quite a few people who'd come to look at the osmium, so that was pretty cool. The ones that could speak English anyway, because my German is incredibly limited.
Oh man, I bet. Oh, that'd be horrible over there. But so there was there was quite an interest showing up the osmium. Was there pretty good display cases set up? How was the?
They had the main showroom. I mean, at a guess, they had 300, 400 different pieces of jewelry and art on display with osmium.
Wow. Did something over there really grab your eye? I'm sorry, I'm kind of shooting.
Yeah. Well, actually, I put Space Miners. I put he lent me 2 of his Space Miner rounds with the osmium in, so they were on display. Our dice with 21 osmium stars. We managed to get that ready, so that was on display.
Awesome.
It was great actually to spend some time with a British jeweler, goldsmith called Gavin from Tunbridge Wells in England. He's the first jeweler to really run with it in England. So he's creating some incredible pieces and getting some great interest in England. So we're really getting some momentum about, and he's making serious pieces of jewelry in the £5,000 to £10,000 range.
Okay.
So that's encouraging for us people who are planning on making much more affordable pieces. Yeah. I think it will create, the more people make the high end stuff, the bigger the market will be for the real, you know, entry level pieces.
Of course. Yep. Very cool. Very cool. How does did you hear much about the pricing? How it?
I did.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know if Ingo or Scott are watching this. I don't know how much to say.
Okay. Well, don't get yourself in trouble. That's for sure. But
maybe I'll run it past you.
Yeah.
Later. We can decide what we can release.
For sure.
So they're doing their best to make it transparent how the pricing is done. We're in a really strange situation, or unusual, but there will be exactly 350 kilograms of vapor crystallized osmium produced.
350 kilos.
No more, no less. So that's kilos. Not much bigger than a basketball, I think. It's like a density of 22 times the density of water, 22.3 or 4, I think it is. It's so
not like a quarter of what we originally
1/60th.
1/60th. Whoa.
Okay. Yeah, I presume, because Ingo always predicted that there would be, well, actually, I was probably wrong, because he always was predicted that the technically recoverable osmium is around a cubic meter.
Okay.
But that was based on data on what had been produced, and the data on what had been produced was falsely based on one large trade of osmium that was broken up and resold and resold and resold, and it looked like volume, but it was the same osmium being bought and sold, because it's not, you know, there's no accurate records being kept.
Okay. Yeah,
so the actual availability is a lot lower than anybody ever thought. And to be honest, the Osmium Institute, they have spent 10 years scouring the world and studying the market. So they're the ones that have a better grip on how much osmium there actually is. And tied that in, there was personal reasons from the Swiss scientist. You know, he's worked his butt off. He's decided he wants to pretty well retire at the end of 2026. And so they agreed with the 320 odd kilos that they've taken 10 years to accumulate by scouring the world for ethically produced osmium. That's how much they're going to crystallize.
Okay. Wow, that's just...
It sounds a tiny amount, but to date, they've sold between 25 and 30 kilos. So in 10 years, they've sold, say, 30 kilos. But I think the way it picks up is going to, the demand now in the US could easily suck up the whole supply in under a year.
Wow. Really, we're gaining that much in moving product that you could see it get eaten up that quick. 350 kilos, or just what's being put out this year?
Oh, sorry, I just got to see our comment there from WC Precious Metals and Numismatics. The jeweler, he's called the Diamond Setter. The Diamond Setter, and he's based in Tunbridge Wells. So he is actually officially the Osmium State Institute for England, Ireland, Scotland, and Northern Ireland.
Very cool. He probably has a website then.
Yes. Probably. Yeah, I'm sure he has. Yeah, his wife runs all that side of it. He's just an incredibly skilled goldsmith.
Maybe I'll try to get that for next time for you. We can take a look at his, because I'd be interested to see. I know we got some other interesting jeweler interest here, so it'd be nice to see what he's come up with.
And there is a Osmium Institute site showing hundreds of different pieces of jewelry as well.
Okay, we'll get that information for next time. And
so lots of ideas. But I think from what I've seen so far, that the way to get into this is the smaller and more affordable pieces, I think, will help anybody start to build their own brand.
Yeah. Okay. That's That's where I'm going to be anyway.
Yeah,
whether I want it or not. So
it is a great opportunity because you know, I would never afford of making jewelry. I'm a bullion dealer. It's not, you know, but we are making jewelry now. So another development. So met a lot of interesting people at Jim Forsyth's memorial last Saturday in DC. And one of them was the guy who runs the Kinesis Mint in Turkey.
Oh, wow.
So talking to him, he was very interested in making custom runs of bullion grade jewelry. So he can stamp, cast, and, you know, do almost anything. So
wow,
we have the potential of sourcing very economically. You know, whether it's rings or earrings, sort of base pieces that then people can then build upon.
Very cool. Very cool. Good to hear. That is cool news.
Yeah. So we will definitely be getting some pieces made, and you know, as this develops, it's going to be rather rapid, but maybe even sell kits so people can buy the gold or the silver or the platinum mount, whether it's an earring or a ring or a pendant, buy the piece of osmium, then they can either mount it themselves, you know. So
for sure,
hopefully we'll be able to help facilitate more people be able to make pieces and then market them to their own friends, family, and contacts.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and then I guess this last question, I had to rewind it down on time, but you know, I just running it through my head in different things and whatnot. Did anyone talk about, like, obviously with the big news of them only doing X amount and closing it down, at least on the production side?
Yep.
Was there much questioning on that, and as far as like other people coming in or producers, or was there?
I've asked them lots of questions. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you know, obviously it's a private monopoly. It's a private business, and you know, it's a private monopoly that makes it, and a private monopoly that cuts it, certifies it, distributes it. I'm a private monopoly. My business is a private monopoly in being the first retailer in the US. So OC's asking about the slices. We do have some of the silverback Comex slices left. So silverback hasn't ceased to exist yet, the manufacturing division. Hopefully Jim's stepson and a former and a current assistant will carry on silverback. Obviously it's early days. But we hope to be doing the slices here at some point, just to keep that. We want to keep that option open because premiums will start to rise. Retail demand will exceed the wholesale availability, and that's what we had before. And we saw premiums go to $3, $4, even $5 for a 100-ounce bar.
Yeah.
So the one of the main ideas with the slicing the bars was you got generally a fixed cost per ounce for the Comex bars, because that's the spot price plus your cost to have it, you know, take the 5,000 ounce contract and the cost to fund that and the cost to then have it securely delivered to wherever it's going. So the always Jim's idea, I mean, that was the first thing we talked about when I met him in 2021.
Okay.
And I said, do you know what? I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of helping protect the supply of affordable, you know, steady premium silver to the retail market. Oh, you got your slice there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you being a part of that is what made me become a part of this. So
yeah,
very, very happy that happened. And
yeah, so
the news.
I can confidently say they will be available again, even if I have to do it all. So
good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why don't you run them through some of your silver deals there, and we'll wind her.
Yeah, sure. We got to show some more shiny first, haven't we? I mean,
right.
Here's
while you're
there's a nice little rectangle they've lent me. So that's a Sparkle 5. Anyway, we'll get to silver now. You can tell I'm fascinated.
No. Yeah, go back to that. I'm just trying to figure out how my software. I'm lost over here with my software. Yeah, show us what you got there and tell us what you got for deals.
Yeah, sure. We got great deals on quarters and dimes.
What are you doing on your 90 right now?
On the 90, $1.50 premium per ounce of silver content. So obviously that fluctuates with the spot price. We have a few very slight second Canadian 10-ounce 495 bars.
Very nice. I like those bars.
We've got those at $1.50 as well.
I might need to get some of those on the next lot. Those are nice.
And then we have a few of the 2023 kangaroos.
Woo! All right, cool.
And we can do those to your esteemed my vocabulary seems to be somewhat limited. I want to use some to your esteemed and prestigious subscribers. We can do these for $2 premium.
Nice. Wow, $2.
So that's less than what most people are charging for rounds. So awesome. Yeah, we got some of those lovely 495 kangaroos for your subscribers and watchers.
Awesome. Okay, and yeah, so this is the man here. If you guys want to pick up some osmium or silver or gold, he's got the best pricing. And also, let me just share this screen here if I can. Oh, come on. Why aren't you sharing? There we go. So, and he runs off, or he gets his spot, correct me if I'm wrong, Ian, from bullion by post.
Yeah, their charts update every 5 seconds, and they're within a penny or two of the actual live commodity pricing, which is what the major wholesalers base their prices on.
Okay. Hello, John. Welcome in.
So, yeah, I like their charts. When you look at the different metals, you can pull up live, day, week, month, 3 month, all the way back to 1971. They got all the different ratio charts. One thing we do need to get going is a gold osmium ratio chart, because that'd be an interesting thing to watch. Cool. I think with gold rising, that will actually be a pull on the osmium price as well.
Sure. And yeah, a point I wanted to mention by bringing up this bullion by post is I've been watching it since he mentioned it to me. And not only do I get my best deals through Ian at like $1 over, you just heard those kangaroos at $2 over. Then you go and you look at, say, pull up APMEX, which is generally 25-30 cents over
on the spot. Yeah,
the spot that they have listed here. So you're not only gaining in a great deal, you're going to get a good 30 cent reduction off of the spot price too.
Yeah.
So you're more like at $1.50 when he says $2. If you depend.
Yeah, I don't know why they do it. It would be so much easier if I remember when I was a retail buyer, you'd be comparing the different sites, you'd write the price down, and you'd go back, and because spot has moved. So it's really hard to work out who's doing the best deal when all the spots are different.
Yep. So Ian has turned me on to this bullion by post, and it seems to be about the most accurate. It seems to be really following a lot of movement, and is generally the lowest price as well. So great place to go. Pick up your precious metals, your pollen, and your nectar. Tell them the bee sent you, and you'll get the best deal possible. So,
but don't buy it from bullion by post because they're expensive.
Correct. Yes, it's Ian. This is just where we're getting our spot price, which is.
I hope the owner's not watching, because I know him.
I'll get it off the screen then. But
yeah,
no, that's great to know.
Nothing to see here.
All right, here, let me show you this screen here is probably what we need to have in the background. This is Ian's site here. This is his number, 307-264-9441. And
so we are trying really hard to get a live spot feed. It is a lot more complicated than you would think to actually get genuine spot.
Okay, because I thought I seen it on your site at one point.
We had it on there, but I found out it was 20 cents higher sometimes, the fee we'd subscribed for.
That very
and for whatever reason, it freaked my web guy out. It shut the site down on the afternoon fix. It shut the whole website down. It's like,
oh, wow. All right.
So we gave up with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is pretty much what I had for you tonight, Ian. Thank you so much for joining us again and filling us in on the details. I'm hoping to have you back. Maybe we can get some of that footage you got from over in Germany. And
yeah, I'm going to see if I can get the presentation the Rolf, the scientist, did on why he ended up focusing on osmium. So I will see if I can get hold of that and sort of summarize it. But it was an excellent talk he did.
That would be awesome. I would love
even if you've got very little knowledge of the periodic table, it really made sense.
Very, very cool. All right. Well, yeah, thanks for coming in, guys. And Ian, we will get you back here for the next one in a couple of weeks, huh?
Okay, LLC. Look forward to it.
All right, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for coming. JM Unleashed, Brown Sugar, WC79, OC, Nickel Stacking, The Baroque Stacker, Tooly, Silver and Cigars, everybody else. John Cum Adventures, welcome. Chum Adventures, welcome in. Thanks for being here. And for everybody else, we will catch you on the next one.